Does the idea of building a profitable business that turns over $15 million after just 5 years appeal? What about winning a swag of business and personal awards along the way? I thought it would. Well, Flora Fauna's Julie Mathers has done just that, and bacon has played no role whatsoever. It's a very vegan episode 488 of the award-winning Small Business Big Marketing podcast.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to your weekly dose of marketing munchies. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, infinitely more importantly, you're a motivated business owner, ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. And that's exactly why this podcast exists. But if it's not enough, you can grab a copy of my marketing book, The Boomerang Effect, that I wrote with you in mind over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Big episode today. We catch up with Julie Mathers, who's the founder of Flora Fauna, which is the largest and quite possibly the fastest growing 100% vegan store in the world. This week's Monster Prize Draw winner has sold millions of dollars, in part thanks to this show, of something I would never, ever consider buying. And I've got some very exciting news about an upcoming guest. And when I say exciting, it's with a capital E. As per usual, team, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Now, when I say exciting about an upcoming guest, I really do mean exciting. Really big news. Coming up in the next few weeks, in fact, I interview him tomorrow. I just haven't decided when to launch it. We'll be talking to marketing doyen, Seth Godin. Yeah, the big Seth, I call him. Author of Purple Cow, Tribes, Linchpin. If you're into marketing, like, this is the guy you want to listen to. Very excited about that. Now, Julie Mathers, with her hubby Tom, founded Flora Fauna, the world's largest self-funded 100% vegan store just 5 years ago, with a crystal clear vision to become the most responsible retailer possible, offering the world's best customer service. It's quite a nice crystal clear vision. I like that. Well, she's doing something right, as 5 years on, Flora Fauna stocks 6,500 products, will turn over $15 million this year, and Julie was recently named number one in the Online Retailing Industry Association's top 50 people in the Australian e-commerce industry, as well as their Business Person of the Year. She's a bit of a gun, is Julie. Here's why you'll be so much better off having listened to this chat. You'll discover how and why being a purpose-driven business grows your bottom line, how being ethical is also a solid growth strategy, how you can build a tribe of loyal customers who are with you for life, why employing people with disabilities is good for business, and plenty more. I started off by asking Julie what it's like to have grown such a successful business in such a short space of time whilst doing a load of good for the planet.
Oh, it's a really good question. You know what? Because I'm constantly striving for the next thing, you rarely get time to reflect on it. Part of it makes me feel great, because it makes me feel happy, actually, because I'm doing what I want to do. Instead of meeting someone else's agenda, I'm actually meeting mine. Mm-hmm. But at the same point, I always think there's just so much more to be done. And I was watching David Attenborough's new series last night, which is just amazing. But I'm left at the end of it going, right, what else can I do? It's fantastic. I mean, sometimes I can't quite believe that we've got to the position we have got to, because it's very, very, very hard to start a business and it requires an enormous amount of work. So I'm delighted that we're here. And then, but there's also a part of me that goes, right, what else? What else can we do? I think that's just the nature of an entrepreneur.
And when you say that, Julie, do you mean there's so much more to do in saving this wonderful planet of ours, or there's so much more to do in the business?
Oh, both actually. But because I'm driven solely by purpose, the second one is driven by the first.
So explain being driven by purpose, because I can assure you every successful business owner that I've interviewed on this show, whether they have said they're driven by purpose or not, it's just very, very clear. Yes. So what do you mean, and what does it feel like?
It's the single most thing is at the core of your business and that pushes you on. And for me, that's to help everyone make kinder choices and basically to make change in the way that we do business, the way that people shop, and the way that we treat our planet and everything that lives on it. That is the single thing that drives me. So it's not money, it's not power, it's not having the biggest range of this, that, or the other. It is the thing that is core to our business and our purpose. And that's what I mean by purpose. It's bigger than us. It's way, way bigger than Flora and Fauna. And so we're a small chunk in trying to deliver that purpose.
Is it something you sat down with your husband, Tom, at some point 5 years ago before starting Flora and Fauna and said, this is our purpose? Or is it just obvious and part of your nature?
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. So when we started, I mean, to a degree, yes, but with our business, everything has developed and grown as we moved. And I think for me, talking to other people with any business, actually, small or large, how you start is not necessarily the final thing. So when we started the business, my view was, okay, I want to have a place where you can buy cruelty-free cosmetics because I find it really hard to purchase them. And that's why we started Flora and Fauna. But over time, I realized that the reason for us being is much bigger than that. And we can have so much more impact than just that. So we had a purpose, but we didn't realize the extent of our purpose. And it's just as you grow, I think, for us.
Have you articulated your purpose now? Is it down to a couple of sentences?
Yes. Helping the world make kinder choices. That's it. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's so we have a huge billboard at work, and it actually covers a fairly nasty wall. So it's kind of handy. But it's on that wall, on a billboard, along with the 8 values that are really important to us.
Do you see other businesses, Julie, in your travels? And I guess I know you mentor other businesses. You probably go to networking events, speak at conferences, all that kind of stuff. Do you see business owners who aren't on purpose, and do you say anything to them? Or what do you think when you do see one that isn't on purpose? As
in they say they have a purpose, but they're not actually delivering that? Maybe,
yeah. Or they just don't understand the concept of having a purpose.
Oh yeah, all the time. I'll talk to them in terms of it's more just to help them figure out who they are. Because I think if you don't have a purpose, who are you and what are you doing? What's your point of difference? So I saw a guy present last week actually, and he's launched a booze business basically. And I was literally watching it and I was going, what's your point of difference? Now, he doesn't necessarily have a purpose to change the world, but I was thinking, why would I shop at you as opposed to Dan Murphy's or Cellarmasters or wherever? And I couldn't figure it out. And I was just like, I don't know why I would shop at you. And so for me, I think I always talk to businesses about what's your point of difference. And often that is linked to purpose, but sometimes it just isn't. Some fashion businesses, as an example, they're very much about fast fashion and just getting stuff in and getting stuff out. So they're definitely not here to save the planet, but their purpose might be to, I don't know, best dress.
Yeah. Well, purpose
much
is
younger than me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Is purpose, wasn't here to talk about purpose for the whole duration
sure.
of the interview, but I do know, Julie, that it is fundamental to Flora and Fauna's success and the reason you jump out of bed each day, and clearly why your tribe does the same. So it's pretty important. Is purpose the same as finding your why? I know Simon Sinek's brought that whole, why do you do what you do to the forefront. Are they similar? Are they the same? Are they different?
I think they are similar. I think it's really, really important to know why you're doing what you're doing. And unless you can be incredibly authentic about it and really honest with yourself as well, then you're going to struggle. So I think they're really closely linked. And the reality is, Flora and Fauna's purpose is my purpose.
You have, so some stats. You've got the world's largest 100% vegan store. You've got 6,500 products. You've got 270 brands. There's a lot going on, a multitude of awards. You love what you do. I'm going to ask you the biggest question you've ever been asked, which is, how have you done it? Now, clearly purpose is number one. But is there two or three other things, Julie, where you go, those little strategic moves are really fundamental to our success?
Sure.
Are you playing with a stapler or something? What's going on in the background there?
Oh my God, I am. I'm playing with a tape measure. I'm going to put it down. Put it away.
Down. How didn't you get that? I had a whole list of points that I sent you before this interview, and one of them, number one, was don't play with tape measures.
I'm such a terrible person about. I'm not very good at not doing anything. Anyway.
I hope it's a vegan tape measure, by the way.
Oh, it's from Stanley. I don't know.
Okay. So a couple of other kind of key points or moves in the business that got you to where you are.
So I think absolute persistence and resilience is so, so important. And by that, Tom and I have had to sacrifice a lot. And we work 7 days a week. So I think the level of work should not be underestimated at all. I was up until 4 a.m. this morning working. So, which is slightly unusual, but not that unusual. So I'm often up till 1. So we are unbelievably single-minded and committed to our business. And I think that's really, really important. Because a friend of mine actually started his business at the same time. And it failed after a year. And the reason being is he said to me, he goes, but Julie, I like my weekends. I like kind of finishing work at 5. I said, don't do your own business then. Go and work for someone else. Because the reality is, it is utterly all-encompassing and you need to throw yourself into it. And that's what we've done. So I think hard work and determination and grit should not be underestimated. None of this is luck. This is hard earned.
I'm guessing you couldn't do your 4 a.m. mornings, your regular 1 a.m. mornings, if you weren't on purpose. And I'm guessing too that you'd probably never really go, geez, this is a pain. I'd much rather go back and work for the man. Yeah. Yeah,
correct. I never complain about having to do anything because it's a really important part of our business. And I love it. And I just know that it has to be done as well. So it's, I then ask, I am keen to understand other things that have led to your success, but I just want to drill down on that. Yep.
Therefore, I hear working to 4 a.m., regularly working to 1 a.m. as either control freak, disorganised. You can love what you do. Disorganised. Maybe tight, not willing to employ others in order to get the job done. Yeah. So what's happening there?
So it's probably, it's probably a mix of all three. So definitely a bit of a control freak, for sure. I also am not very good at doing things tomorrow. So I like to get a lot done. And as a result of that, I just push and push and push. So, which is how we've grown so quickly, because we don't have investment or any of that sort of stuff. We just absolutely push things out. Someone came into the office the other day and said, you should do a time-lapse video of your team working. This was after Black Friday. And I said, great idea. So I just did it there and then. And he goes, I didn't think you were going to do it right now. And I was like, no, in the moment. And so definitely that. I think.
So to that point, because I'm talking to a very successful businesswoman and I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah.
To that point, if you've gone and done that time-lapse video, which was just someone else's idea, not sure to what outcome, to what commercial outcome, to what benefit, but therefore you have sacrificed, and I don't know how long that took, but the opportunity cost of that would have been significant? Maybe not significant, but there's an opportunity cost, right?
Yeah, some things you go, oh, that's lovely. We'll look at that, But that was a 2-minute job,
right?
So not a big thing. You set your phone up and you let it go for a couple of hours.
And then what do you do with it?
What do we do with it? Social media.
Aha.
Social media. Yeah, okay. Always about social media.
All about the social.
Yeah. So it's a mix in terms of how we work so hard. It's a mix of that. It's also the fact that we are recruiting at the moment, actually. But it's finding the right people.
Who want to stay up till 4.
No, never ask my team to do that.
Good on you.
No, never ask the team to do that. I'm happy to do it, but I never expect them to do it.
That's fair enough. So in regards back to persistence and resilience, what else have you sacrificed, Julie, you and Tom?
Family time, for sure.
Got kids?
Both of our families. Yes, we do. We have one little boy who is 9 months old, actually. So... he actually, he has taught us so much. So he's called Woody and he has Down syndrome. So he has taught us so much about kindness and compassion, but also inclusivity as well. Mm-hmm. So he's an utter gift to us. And I've done a lot more about us being inclusive as a workplace since having Woody.
How does it show itself in the workplace?
So we were always pretty good anyway at employing just a wide variety of people. So we have people who work with us who have hearing difficulties. One of our team is actually deaf. We have we've actually employed 2 people now who have autism. There's various different abilities around and about that people have, and we always so we're very open in how we employ people. But I've just upped that a level in terms of just being a little bit more, I suppose, looking for it as opposed to waiting for it to come to us.
Totally inclusive.
I'm trying to put, So I just want to give 1 in 5 people in Australia has a disability, and you don't see that in the workplace. So I want that to be reflected in our workplace.
And did Woody teach you that?
Oh, he just, it's me just learning more about. I knew nothing about Down syndrome when we found out. Well, I found out when I was pregnant. I knew nothing about Down syndrome, and me just educating myself about it has just gone, hang on a minute, we need to be giving people a fair crack here. This is, they're amazing people. And, and we hear the word sorry a lot from people in terms of, sorry that Woody's got Down syndrome. And it's nothing to be sorry about. He's an utter gift. And to be honest, he's just like any other baby right now. So I think there's just a lot to be done in general.
Julie,
around inclusion.
There are many business owners listening to this who are going, geez, Julie's a good old stick, good on her for doing that. But they're also asking, but how does it affect the business, whether it be autism or a physical disability? And they're going, that's going to affect my bottom line. What do you say to them?
So, actually, what you'll find is there are different levels of disability. So some people have just, things like mental health and things, you wouldn't actually physically know much, but you need to be there to support them. But also you'll find that a lot of people with disabilities, they need a place to work, but you can get subsidies for helping them have placements. Plus one lady worked with us, and it was actually on an internship. She was with us for 12 weeks, and it was for her to get out into the workplace. This was with Spectrum Australia. And she actually had someone who came in each week as her guide and mentor. So we gave them jobs, a specific job to do, and she did that job each week. So don't look at it as a burden or a cost on your workplace, because it isn't necessarily, but it also has taught our team so much more than that as well, in terms of thinking slightly differently. So there's a couple of ways you look at it. And I get small business. We're small business. You've got to think about your bottom line. But often people with disabilities will come with support. So it isn't such a cost to you. So it's just something to have a look into, I'd suggest. But talk to organisations about it, because they know all sorts about it.
Julie, back to those sort of top three things that have led to Flora and Fauna's success. So far, we've talked about being on purpose. We've talked about being persistent, being resilient. What's another strategic move you've made? It might have even shocked you, where you've gone, wow, that just skyrocketed us.
Oh, gosh. I think when we started, we just looked at getting cruelty-free cosmetics. And really, 5 years ago, no one thought about packaging much at all. I think about a year and a half into what we did when we started is we put our stuff into Aussie Post satchels, and then we drove down to the post office and we dropped them off with Cumber, the guy at the post office, and we did that for quite a while. And I loved doing that. It was great fun. And anyway, about a year and a half in, I just went, why are we using all this plastic? This is ridiculous. So we tested just using boxes instead, with no plastic at all. And then I was there going, are they going to withstand all the different temperature changes in Australia and Cairns and the rain and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we've never had an issue at all, ever. And that was probably one of the biggest changes that we've made, is really looking at how we operate the business to be pretty much zero waste. Mm-hmm. And from that move sparked so many other decisions that we made, which was to become a B Corp business, to carbon offset all of our business, to work with charities and so on and so forth. So that has been, again, not wanting to go on about purpose, but it does link to that.
It always comes back to it. Everything you do
it always comes
is coming back to your purpose.
Everything comes back to it, right?
Is it hard? Is it hard to be ethical and responsible? And by hard, I mean, is it hard financially? Do you take a hit? Is it hard from process point of view? It just seems easier, and that's why I suppose most businesses do it, not to be ethical and responsible. It certainly seems cheaper.
Yeah, no, not at all. I don't think so anyway. Probably a good example is when we took all the plastic out of our orders, we actually simplified everything, because we said, look, we're not going to put the tissue paper in. We put an option at checkout, which was minimal packaging, because some people are ordering from us and going, I just don't want all the packaging that you're sending. And I was like, oh, okay. So I thought, well, let's give them the choice. So at checkout, we've got a tick box, which is minimal packaging or non-minimal packaging. 95% of people select minimal.
Wow. That's a cost saving.
Yeah. Exactly. So, we're hitting our purpose. We're giving the customer choice, which is what they want. We're giving them what they want. And also, we saved a fortune in terms of, because tissue paper is really expensive. We saved a fortune in packaging, plus time for the team to actually pack the orders. So that's one saving right there. Another one this year was, and this is kind of links to it, but we changed all of our warehouse systems to everything went digital. So before, what we used to do was we'd print off the picking slip, and then the team would go and pick to the slip, and it was a bit of a treasure hunt, to be honest. Anyway, we went to scanning in, scanning out. So everything, as soon as it hits that back door, every product has a place in the warehouse, and we lost all the paper. So not only we're just zero paper in the warehouse now, so that has saved us. We did quantify it. It was a lot. It was a lot of money. But we've also improved efficiency by 50%. And that was overnight. And last week, at the moment, in fact, with all of the Christmas orders, our efficiency's up 80%. So I firmly believe you can make responsible decisions and ethical decisions, which are also really good in terms of just general business practice as well.
Julie, Flora and Fauna is primarily e-commerce, but you opened up a bricks and mortar outlet only 12, 18 months ago.
Not even that long. We did indeed. So it was actually July this year. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because, you know what, I'm a traditional retailer at heart. So I grew up in stores. So I really understand the importance of customer experience. And with that, I love having a direct contact with the customer. So we often do markets. In fact, every month we do a Sydney market. We've got a pop-up next week in Sydney for a week. And I just, for me, I love running an online business, but I also really love having a direct relationship with the customer face-to-face. In whichever
So is this a little passion, is having a bricks and mortar store a little passion project of Julie Mather's?
Of course it is.
What did Tom, husband / bean counters, have to say about that?
He said, "Oh God, not another thing." It's another job on the list.
Well, it's kind of interesting because if you talk to e-commerce players, they're trying to get out of bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
I've spoken to a number of them that have actually tried and done what you've done, and I got to say. There's a couple of, casualties along the way where it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Spell and the Gypsy Collective seemed to get it right. That's the clothing store out of Byron Bay. They've got a beautiful flagship store in Byron, yet most of their business is done online. Is your store, so retailer at heart, you love the customer experience thing. What better way of doing it than eyeballing your customer? Have you set the store up as a bit of a flagship destination place?
Yeah, it's, you know what, we've done a similar job to Spell, and not as pretty by any stretch, but with Spell, I've been into their store and it's below their office, isn't it? Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's space they already have. With our store is at the front of our warehouse. So it's when we moved into the warehouse, the space at the front was specifically cornered off for the store. Yeah, so I'm not paying crazy Westfield rents or anything else, for a specific spot. It's a decent space. It's kind of 70 square meters at the front of the warehouse. It has a glass wall at the back, which looks straight into the warehouse. So people can come in and see what the team are doing. But also we're not limited on range. So if anyone comes in, we can get any of our 7,000 products for them.
Nice.
Which we couldn't do if we had a store in anywhere else. So, so actually our store revenue now pays for the rent on the whole place. So,
there you go.
Yeah, so it totally adds up. And for us, it is a destination.
One of the things, Julie, that you are very, very good at is building community. Building and nurturing community. Now, we all, as any business owner, wants a tribe. Doesn't matter if it's 10 people or 10,000 people. You have I would argue you have a run-up start to building a community because, and I have a vegan daughter, they are passionate. They are passionate. They stand for something. They take no prisoners. They want to be part of the greater good. So you got a run-up start. But on top of that, how have you gone about building your community? Where do they live? How do they talk to each other? And what do you do to kind of connect with them on a regular basis?
Yeah. So, no, you're absolutely right. And it's quite touching how our community interacts with us as well. I think we're a retailer, but they see us as more than that. So, the wonders of social media, we started when we launched a Facebook page. So we're on Facebook and Instagram primarily, and Twitter. We don't play in Snapchat or TikTok or any of that kind of stuff. That's not really our market. But we're on those three. And Facebook and Instagram are the two big ones for us, but particularly on Facebook, this is where customers talk amongst themselves. And we find them talking amongst themselves on our posts. So they'll ask each other for advice. So actually, probably about, 5 or 6 months ago, we set up a Facebook group, which for Flora Fauna, called the Flora Fauna family, and invited our customers to it. And on that group, they can then easily talk amongst themselves. And we're in it as well, and they know we're in it. And there are people who come in and might try and tout their wares or whatever. So there's always the risk of that. But primarily, our community talks to each other, and they do it regularly. And what they're often talking about is, I think, what was I looking at? One this morning. What safety razor? I'm looking for a non-plastic safety razor. Which one should I get? And then they'll just get a whole heap of responses from different people giving their advice. And that's how we've really, really built the community. But it's all down to social media. And it's also down to us not just pushing products and sales and offers. And yes, we do that because we are a business. That's on our Facebook page. But it's also talking about who we are as a business, what makes us tick, the people behind the brand. So we often talk about the team and what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy.
What kind of content really works on your Facebook or Instagram? Content that gets a lot of likes, comments, shares?
Yeah. So
sales.
You know what? If I know what's going to fail before I even put it up, but sometimes you just have to put things up because you've sort of agreed with a brand that you'll do it. So the things that really work are, if we talk about, from a product perspective, we talk about product which has eco packaging, which is a bit different, which has a real point of difference. It works because that's what our community is looking for. They're looking for ways to tread softly, basically, on our planet. So if we can help them with that, they go, oh, that's cool. So any products that are slightly different or that, have better packaging really work. And also when we talk about, we don't do it much, but when we talk about social issues or environmental issues, really, so, the Amazon burning or, with the bushfires in Australia, the other week, we just said, right, it wasn't about trying to get people to shop with us. We just said, this is awful. We've just donated $1,000 to Port Macquarie Koala Hospital. And here are 4 ways you can donate. And four charities that effectively, if you want to donate, you can donate to them. So no links to our website, just here's how you can help. Now our Facebook guy doesn't necessarily love that because that's not linking to our website. But Yeah, but for me, if I get stuck in, because we have someone looking after social media, but if I get stuck in, it's always about doing something from the heart and that is important and makes a difference. So things like that always work because it's actually helping people and giving them. So many people came on and they said, oh, thank you, because I actually wasn't sure. I wanted to do something, but I wasn't sure where to give money to. So, things like that work.
Awards, Julie, you have won a plethora of awards. A couple to mention. You were winner number 1 in the top 50 e-commerce people of the year for 2019. You've won Best Small and Succeeding Retailer in the New South Wales Telstra Business Awards last year. How important, you clearly are entering a lot of awards. How important are they maybe to you, to the business, to the greater good?
I think it's that they're important in lots and lots and lots of different ways, and people have lots of different views on awards. I think it's very, very important to be able to say that a business looking to make a difference, acting responsibly, and 100% vegan business could win that Telstra New South Wales award. For me, that's really important to show to other businesses that this stuff matters, but also that you can be a very good business, but also lead with values and purpose. So part of it is about showing the way. The Telstra one particularly was a surprise and an absolute honour because it's so hard. It's such a process.
It's massively hard. Yeah. I've been a judge on the Telstra Business Awards, and I also emceed them a couple of years ago, and I have seen the effort and the submissions, the entries are just quite significant. And if nothing else, having spoken to a lot of people who have entered, the process of actually forcing you to look in every single corner of your business is a good process.
It's an amazing process. Such a big fan of them. And because the process is so in depth, and we had 2 judges turn up to our business, and it was at the old warehouse where we'd basically run out of space and there was stock everywhere, and it was just like, welcome. And we had 2 judges turn up, and they saw it raw and real, and they spent a few hours with us going through the business. And it's actually really good to step back and just, because you don't do it much, to step back and just reflect on where you are, but also be critiqued. I thought that was really handy by 2 really smart people coming in and going, well, what about this? What about that? What about that? And I was like, God, it was a very good process. So the process for that one was excellent for me. The winning of it was amazing to show, hey, this is what we can do, but also it's great for the team, great for our customers, where they go, well, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? And of course, you do get some marketing and PR out of it as well, which we'll never say no to. So, I think, some awards are more important than others, and different awards you would enter for different reasons, maybe. So,
Julie, of all the marketing that you're doing, we've touched on social media and the power of that. The fact that you've built a brand that actually stands for something, is on purpose, all that's fantastic marketing. Can you put your finger on one little marketing initiative that you've done that's either brought in a bunch of new customers or sold a whole lot of product and just really kind of blew you away?
Yeah, so probably one initiative, which is ongoing, is when we launched our own brand. So we have our own brand called Green and Kind. We do wholesale it a little bit, not a lot. And that has worked really well for us, mostly because we control the supply. So a challenge we've always faced is that we couldn't get enough stock. And that has been a bit of an issue. So we said, okay, we can't keep doing this, because we're pretty much just sending customers to our competitors when we don't have stock. So it's like, right, fine, let's set up our own brand. And that has been really, really good for us. One, we can offer a better price to the customer because we're going straight to factory. 2, the margins are much, much better. And 3, we control supply. So we can suddenly push something really hard, and we know we've got the stock to back it up. That's probably one of the best things we've done, which is a longer ongoing thing.
Julie, thank you so much for sharing the story of floraandfauna.com.au. A wonderful story. Well done on getting it to where it is in such a short period of time, and I wish you all the best for the future.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, there you go, team. Flora and Fauna's Julie Mathers, who's kindly donated 20 $75 vouchers for me to give away in future Monster Prize draws. Don't forget, I've got marketing doyen, literally like the marketer's marketer, Seth Godin, joining us in a few weeks' time. But right now, here's what grabbed my attention from that chat with Julie. Attention grabber number 1. I really love how Julie so succinctly articulated her purpose as helping the world make kinder choices. Simple, efficient use of words, makes complete sense and is inspirational. What's your purpose? Attention grabber number 2. I love how showing kindness and compassion has led to Flora and Fauna having a very inclusive workplace. Given every small business and business owner that I speak to says people are their major problem, maybe Julie is onto something in her employment strategy. And attention grabber number 3, I love that she's created her own house brand called Green and Kind. Could you have your own house brand? Maybe look into it. Well, that's what grabbed my attention. Whatever grabbed yours, big, small, whatever it may be sure to block out some time and implement that idea.
Come on down. It's Timbo's Monster Prize Draw.
Yep, you know what that means. It's time to reward another motivated listener, could be you, if you've emailed me, for taking some serious marketing action. Just to be clear, all you got to do, you email me, tim@timreid, reid.com.au. You say, hey, Timbo, listen to your show, implemented one idea from it, and as a result, this has happened to my business. If I read it out on air, you win. It's so easy. Today's winner is Dave Harrison of HeavyMetalMerchant.com. And here's what Dave has to say. G'day, Timbo. Hey, Dave. Been listening to your podcast for years. Like that. And you win. Done. And have absorbed and, more importantly, implemented many ideas. The most resonating ones for me are when you are interviewing the younger entrepreneurs like Melanie Perkins, the founder of Canva. That was an awesome episode, been incredibly popular, highly downloaded. I'll put a link in the show notes to that. Or the hat entrepreneurs, Loz and Alex. Yeah, they were good too, episode 468 from memory. It shows you the scope of what is possible using the powerful tools, technology and social media marketing to enable one to run a business and build an online brand and presence, even if it seems a bit off the beaten path or obscure. Yeah, that's a great learning, Dave. Totally agree with that. Episode 461 was also awesome with the 10 Facebook marketing tips for small business. That was with Cham Tang, and he's definitely used them, says Dave. Like you say, Timbo, build a niche an inch wide and a mile deep. That is what we have done to help us sell millions of dollars of heavy metal music merchandise. I love it. At heavymetalmerchant.com. Yes, that is right. Official licensed shirts. They'd be flannelette shirts, wouldn't they? With sort of, skulls and crossbones printed on them. Beanies, same thing. Hoodies, patches, flags. I'm just kind of boxing them into a corner. This is unfair, although my son is into heavy metal and I know what that merch looks like. Jewellery and even baby clothes to rockers around the world, all through harnessing the power of online marketing. Cheers, Timbo, for the marketing inspiration. Rock on, mate. Well, Dave, you rock on too, buddy, because you have won a swag of prizes for listening for so long and implementing. Here's what you've won. A $75 Flora and Fauna voucher. Now, Dave, heavy metal guy, are you into vegan stuff? I don't know. I don't want to kind of, be too kind of, what's the word? Pigeonhole you, but yeah, I reckon you're a bacon eater. Anyway, you got a $75 voucher for Flora and Fauna. A Lumber Punk's $100 voucher to go and throw some axes. That's heavy metal right there. A 180 headlamp, that's worth $100. Boxing gloves from Fitness Enhancement, they're worth $40. Liar's range of non-alcoholic spirits, over $500 worth right there. Access to Jeff Anderson's video marketing course, $197, $100 worth of tradies undies. Promotion on this show and a backlink in the show notes. What more can you ask for? Dave, you're a winner. Everyone else, email me. I read it out on air. You win. Before we wrap things up, just a reminder that you will find plenty more where this came from, plus my entire archive of episodes and blog posts, which are full of ideas to grow your business, is over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. If you're getting value from listening, don't keep the podcast a secret. Be sure to let your fellow business owners know about it. Next week, we catch up with past guest Mark Livings, who just 6 months ago launched a range of non-alcoholic spirits called Liars. Well, he's already had some major wins globally, and he comes in to tell us how he's achieved some massive growth in a minuscule amount of time. This podcast was presented by me, Timbo Reid, produced by Matt Dwyer. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Now, get out there and take action.